Basic statements in the C language. Simon says. From experience using the C language and its close relatives, I have developed some rules, or perhaps proverbs. I present these as Simon says. You are free to heed the advice or ignore it. Always declare just one variable per line. This allows you to put a comment about its use afterwards. In addition, in C, it will avoid a problem we will encounter later on. Always explicitly initialize all local variables. Place the variable initialization immediately after the declaration list and before any statements that do anything. Place the assignment statements in exactly the same order as the declarations, as this helps with reading the code to ensure everything is initialized. Always use braces in both the then and else parts of an if statement. This avoids the problems of both the logic error introduced by adding a statement to the else part of an if statement and the problem of the dangling else statement. If possible, arrange to have a constant or expression come before the double equals sign. This additional precaution will become habit and will nearly eliminate the single equals instead of double equals error. This error is unique to C, cannot be checked by the compiler, and is hard to track down. Never use double equals to compare two measurable values. The chances are that two values you intend to be equal are not because of accuracy problems. Instead, you should determine if the absolute value of the difference is within some particular range. Use plus plus and minus minus only in the for loop construct. Using these two operators can lead to them being used liberally in expressions. The result of such uses are almost always undefined because the order of evaluation of operations in expressions is not totally defined. Never use a compound statement except as part of an if or loop statement. Compound statements exist in C as a convenience for the writer of the compiler and to allow programmers to indicate that a variable will only be used in part of the code to help the compiler. Neither reason still applies, but the rules mustn't change or old code will break. Never use the fact that an assignment is an expression. It is sometimes tempting to do this, as assignment of a partial value may seem worthwhile. However, the order in which operations in an expression are performed is not defined. The result is unpredictable. An exception can be made for while loops that are terminated by reading a zero. This tends to occur when dealing with files and strings, as we will see later. Never use compound expressions. Compound expressions can almost always be replaced with a regular sequence of statements concluding with an assignment. This method is clearer. Never use assignment operators. They were intended to help the compiler pick particular instructions. They are now a redundant abbreviation and tend to make code harder to read, if quicker to write. Never allow cases to drop through. This isn't a hard and fast rule, but at the very least I surround the switch statement with warnings in comments. To avoid duplicating code, you can make the bottom case statement into a function and call it at the end of the top case. Always include a default case in a switch statement. Even where this does nothing, comment that it does nothing, or where the expected possibilities have been explicitly named, since this detects the error of unexpected cases. This is known as defensive programming. Use break statements sparingly. Always comment the loop that uses a break statement. Consider whether the loop can be expressed differently, or an if statement and flag would create clearer code. Conclusion. I have presented some guidelines for using C safely and avoiding confusing mistakes that can be hard to find. You are welcome to adopt or ignore the advice, though much of it is widely used by other programmers and simply adopted here.